Today is April 20th. Bucks lose all weekend. Swept by the Guardians. We're all frustrated. I totally understand. We're going to try to find something to talk about or therapy or something. You're listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Yins, guys, thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about the Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh. His name is Jake. And Jake's on the road right now.
Yeah, man, hanging out in Florida for a couple days. Down at the beach.
Oh, I was going to ask how you're feeling, but you just answered it, basically.
It's like officially given a good definition to beach bummed.
Yeah?
Instead of a beach bum.
Yeah.
I'm bummed out.
So we can't.
I'm bummed out.
Yeah. That's the one.
No hats tonight. Dave White coming in with no hats tonight. I love it, actually, because this is a good segue to right out of the gate. I just got back from Dominican. If you're listening to the weekly shows, first off, guys, shows every day now. I'm doing shorter shows for the mornings for the rest of the week after this one. This one's Sunday night, Monday morning. I'm having a good time with it. It's been really fun. I just spent a week in the Dominican Republic, and on the way out, was able to. I just walked past basically a store that looked like it's called Four Fans. It looked like a lids or something like that. But basically, I don't know. Maybe we have some of those here. I've never seen them. But I was able to land a Tigris del Licey hat. Now I went with the black on black. Let's see if I can get this in the camera here. You can see the Licey there. This is from the Dominican Winter League, right? This is the team that like we've seen O'Neal Cruz play for in the past and guys like that. But anyway, they had the blue hats that they actually wear and everything, but I'm just not it was fitted and it's a bit, I like the soft crown hat myself. Yeah. And then we walked back. This is all polyester, so it's actually kind of cool, but it's also black on black. That's my style, right? Adjustable in the back.
Right.
It's the way I like to rock them. And so pretty pumped to find a Licey hat. While you're if you're going to bring something back from the Dominican, man, I'm going baseball, right?
Yeah, it's got to be baseball related.
Yeah, so I was pretty pumped about that.
I went to the Dominican Republic, what was it, 2012? I tried to bring back a southpaw to help our high school baseball team win a championship or something, but it didn't work out. We couldn't find him housing.
You can't say that. Oh, it's funny. Yeah. Matt says, dude, it's like you're speaking another language. They do in that, but yeah. Lead on. They actually show the games on MLB Network too. But it's fun in the winter when there's no baseball on. That's what you have. Albert Pujols managed a team down there that won the championship this year.
Yeah.
They had shirts from that team. I mean, they had, they also had the World Baseball Classic Dominican stuff, which was cool. But when I saw the black on black and it was, Licey, that I actually tune into those games because sometimes you'll see some of our buccos on there. Back in the day, it was like, it was always O'Neal Cruz and Rodolfo Castro playing for him. Cruz barely plays anymore. He's on the roster every year. He gets like 15 DH at bats. I don't understand why he wasn't playing center field this winter. I was like, let's see him play some center. No, he just barely, he's just there hanging out. But I think that one of the main guys of that team, I'm not kidding. One of the main guys on that team this year was Emilio Bonifacio, still running in the outfield. Like 43, 44 years old.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my hero, right?
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. If you haven't checked out the weekly shows, though, specifically from last week, there was some kind of comedy in there, too, because I think it was Wednesday morning. I went out there. It would have been Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning, I went out and I said, I'm going to walk the beach and do a show. And then right before I hit record, I must have swiped and changed it to time warp and basically just recorded me for 12 minutes on the beach on a time lapse, just walking and fast forward. It's just absolutely ridiculous. No sound at all. I was like, I'm not doing another show. I'm not going to go down there and do that again now that the beach is full of people. So, but I'd wake up in the mornings, try to get out there before most people did. And I learned how to basically do like vlog style, like walking with the camera and recording, totally out of my element. But hey, by the end of the week, I think I felt a little more comfortable still talking Pittsburgh Pirates while walking past another beachgoer with their shirt off. You know what I mean? Like, hi, guy. I'm wearing the long sleeves and a hood over my head a lot of times. I didn't have the hood over my head then, but I stayed out of the sun, Jake.
I can't blame you.
I'm not really the beach kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm hit or miss.
Okay. No.
Sometimes it's
Dave White. That's
sometimes
a no.
It's therapeutic.
Yeah. Miles says the having to slow down while walking and talking. Oh man, yeah, that's a big thing. I was just booking it. Like, I don't want anybody behind me to catch up with me and hear me talking. So I was like booking it. I was like, okay, hold on a second. You guys, probably you don't want to listen to me pant. I was out of breath. But yeah, no. Anyway, there's stuff to talk about. Obviously, the Pirates did not have the weekend that we would have hoped. I think Friday morning I said something like, "This is a team that we actually could take 2 or 3 out from when we had Skeens going on Saturday and Keller on Sunday. Like, why not?"
Yeah.
And all you had to do was, Jim says, "Josh did I get a little burn? Maybe a little bit in the face."
Yeah.
But that's about it. I stayed out as much as I could. I mean, this is just from the morning shows. like this is how much I get burnt. Other than that, like I think I took a screenshot one time of the weather app saying that the UV index was extreme. And I sent that from the room to Katie, who was out by the pool, and I was like, I'm comfortable. We'll wait till that goes down to like very strong or whatever's before extreme. And then I'll sit in the shade and get a sunburn. That's how my life works. Anyway, there are stuff to talk about, and we're gonna try to navigate our way through here. I've got something that we could talk about that might be a little bit positive if we can muster ourselves to get there. Okay?
Sure.
All right. So right now, let's talk about some quotes. We have to talk about them. Ben Sherrington had a quote on 93.7. Skeens has a quote. I mean, Kutch even has been quoted a ton. I talked a little bit about some of those this week or last week. But let's start with Ben Sherrington, Jake. He's talking about Skeens' bobblehead and the lines that were all the way down the edge of like halfway across the Clemente Bridge and whatnot. And he said, seeing those lines, you can start to think ahead to a playoff game. That's what you want this environment to be. It's incredibly motivating because we want to get there. We want to win more games so that we can get there, and I believe we will. I'm just not sure it's the time. And I don't know if you hold back from saying stuff like that. Like, obviously you want to get there. Yes. Obviously, if you're the GM, you have to say that you believe that you'll get there. Like, that's an obvious thing for him to say.
Yeah, he has to say it.
He has to say it. He can't say, man, I've really screwed up. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't do that. And so that's the thing that is like, I'm going to give him a pass on the like the angle when it comes to that. But he also brought this up. And that's the part where I was like, you could have just not brought it up. You could have just said, it's exciting. We've got a really exciting young player who is really drawing a lot of attention, and he's all across the league. You know, you don't even have to talk about playoff games. Like, you brought it up.
Right.
That's
I'm with you 100% on that. I mean, talk about Skeens drawing the attention. Talk about how good he is right now. Talk about literally anything, but going to the playoffs when we're sitting at 7-13 at the time.
Playoffs? Playoffs? You just, yeah, that's the thing that was the biggest thing I had with it is like, you brought it up. And, you know, I just think that there's a lot of things that you could have said around that whole thing, but like everything that they do right now, and that goes for, I'm going to put Shelton in it. I'll go to Sherrington. I'll go to Travis Williams. And I'll go to Bob Nutting. Everything that you say is coals on a fire. You know what I mean? And it's all going to keep building and building and building. And eventually something has to happen. And maybe we'll get into that. But obviously, I mean, this is one of the guys. I mean, coals on the fire that's actually warming his seat up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all of them. Everybody except for Bob Nutting, because as much as we would want it to happen, he's not selling. And there's no way out of that. So, but there is a way to win. I mean, Cleveland just came in here with a good baseball team who's been struggling to start the year too, but they're good. They've got good players. They've got players who play certain roles. I mean, Manzardo, he's not great. He's not an all-around polished player, but he's dynamic with what he has on the power side of things, which is what we were hoping a couple of years ago, that we could get something like that from Jack Sawinski. Yeah, the strikeouts are high. Yeah, the average isn't there, but this guy can make a difference with power. And Manzardo's doing that for them right now. When you look at the numbers, you're like, oh, it ain't that good. But when you watched him play this weekend, you were like, this dude's dangerous. This dude's going to kill us. You know what I mean? And he had a good weekend.
Yeah.
But he does. That's what he does. I mean, that guy just commands the batter's box. You know what I'm saying? Like he makes you feel like, even though he's a guy that you can strike out, you're nervous when he's up because of the potential there.
Yeah, anytime I get it's why people are nervous to face Cruz. That's why was a Bart it basically got a 4-pitch walk.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because they didn't want to face somebody that can change the game in one swing.
I don't think that Bart got a 4-pitch walk because of that, though.
Sure,
Cruz was up next.
But it was a pinch hit, wasn't it?
Well, he pinch hit earlier in the game, so he was on deck.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think they were.
That's not what I was thinking. Yeah.
Once again, I'll get to that. But either way, you're talking about a franchise there who has those type. I mean, Jose Ramirez, right? I mean, can we say best third baseman in baseball right now?
Yeah.
Like all around, plate, field, he's got the whole package, stolen bases, power, doubles, average. He's got the whole thing.
He has been for a while.
But either way, you've got good players all the way through. And they're not all great. Stephen Kwan's unbelievable. That throw to get Brian Reynolds at third.
That was ridiculous.
Reynolds is safe 9 times out of 10 on that play. Like, that's not bad base running on Reynolds' part.
It is, but
it is. How did he stutter? Was there anything like that's a double off the wall?
Yeah, but he wasn't running from first to second,
waiting to see if it got caught or what?
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me.
Okay,
like he should have been standing on second by the time that ball hit the wall,
or right in front of it, right? Because you don't want to touch
it. In front of it.
But he wasn't.
And lollygagging this way.
Okay. And I don't think I've ever seen Reynolds lollygag, but if that's what it was,
no.
Okay.
No, that was
I was gonna say that would be we should have let off with that if he was lollygagging, because that'd be the first time I'd seen it ever happen.
No, it was just one of them plays where it looked like he wasn't sure if he was going to get caught or not, so he wasn't sure if he should run or not. But you should at least get the second on that. And then when the ball, you see it down, he could have jogged into third.
I don't think anybody the way that the play. I don't think he's jogging into third.
That throw was I remember I was watching that game and I looked at Ashley and said, "Holy cow!" That was
it's ridiculous. I mean, that's why he has 3 gold gloves, right?
You're right.
But yeah, okay. So if that's the case, if he was, I mean, he shouldn't be right. It's a
It was
halfway thing.
both.
You should go halfway. You
Yeah.
should probably go 3/4 on that because it's left field and the play's in front of you. You're not
Yeah.
tagging on that, so
No.
because you're too far behind to be tagging on that to get to second. So, but yeah, yeah. I don't know. I have him. I have him just 3/4 and waiting to see if it hits the wall. So I feel like that's the play base running wise. And he's fast enough that he should have been able to get there 9 times out of 10. So if he wasn't 3/4, then yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
If he was more like half, then I'll give that a problem. But I didn't see that angle. All I saw was him booking it. So I just
I mean, I saw it a little bit later, and I was like, he probably could have got. Either way, great throw. Not taking anything away from Kwan. That was just a great play.
right, and the
He played
bounce
that
right to
perfect.
him, as Miles says here. Like the bounce went directly to him, which you could
See,
credit.
I thought he made a great play on that bounce because I thought it went pretty. Like he had to reach for it. Like it went towards him, but it was not right at him.
I
thought
feel
he made a great play.
I feel like he made it look like he was catching the ball from a relay throw. Like I thought it was played perfectly off the wall. And when you're the away team, that's really hard to do. I think there was a little bit of a reach, but I thought it was well played off the wall, like incredibly played.
Yes.
And and it bounced hard into his glove. It didn't bounce high. It was right in there. And it was
And
like,
I think that's why it looked tricky to me. Like he made a great play.
Yeah. Okay. Either way, I'm not sure how we got here. Oh yeah. Cleveland's got terrible owners too. They've got terrible owners too. They just don't complain about them because their team has results that win. But they don't spend money either. They refuse to spend money. They wouldn't change their name for a long time, even with people. You remember me and you went up there as kids and they were picketing outside of there. So this was a long time coming. This has been going on for a long time and they just ignore it. But either way, I mean, that's the only reason I say that is because he's not selling, and there is a way that you can get a group in here that can win baseball games. And this group is not getting it done.
Yeah.
And they're doing great with pitching. I want to make sure that I am, across the board just saying whatever. But they're doing it, and they've got idiot owners too. So we can do it with an idiot owner. You know what I'm saying? Tampa's owner doesn't look like he's all that great either. And they've been able to win for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So I just think that, if you get baseball people in here to do things the right way, then it's possible to win. That's all.
Yeah.
Steel City DW says, looking at Kwan, he's a sneaky elite player at this point that rarely gets talked enough about. He is what Ramirez used to be, right? And it's because he's in Cleveland. But like Jose Ramirez used to be that sneaky good third baseman or second baseman when he started this thing that nobody's talking about. But everybody knows. He's still called the most underrated player, but he's not. He's very well rated, and he lives up to all of it. He doesn't get the attention, but everybody knows who he is and how good he is.
Didn't he play shortstop for a minute right after Lindor got traded?
Not right after Lindor got traded, because he had already, I think, mostly maybe he did, but I think the Lindor trade brought over a shortstop. I'm trying to think of who it was.
Yeah.
But that trade brought a shortstop to them. So he just slotted right in. Either way, it is what it is. The Guardians have made a turn. They've had a lot of success lately. And, I don't know. Maybe you'll start seeing... I mean, they're still not spending it on players, so I don't know. I mean, they still just dumped Josh Naylor away from his brother on the team just because he was going to get more expensive. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's still a lot of the same stuff. But when you've got guys coming up and like Manzardo and, whatever, you can afford to do stuff like that. We just don't have the hitters. And,
when you develop position players too.
Right. Exactly. And not to mention, take a section of your stadium away to create a huge draft so that they can hit a ton more home runs to right field It's just like they created the Yankee Stadium jet stream to right field. Like, brilliant idea. Just take this section out so all the wind blows that way. Perfect. Let's do it. Anyway, too much about them. Let's go to the Skeens quote, Jake. Here's what he said. I mean, basically just talking about not getting that win.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not just executing at a high enough level and as consistently as we need to win these games. I don't think it's a clubhouse thing. I mean, everybody likes each other, but positive feelings and friendships don't win championships. So we got to figure it out. I'm going to go two different ways with this one. First off, I'm going to go back to like, I don't know why you brought that up. Well, nobody asked if the clubhouse was in turmoil.
Yeah.
So me personally, you know how I'm going to spin this. There's one guy in there causing problems. But I've got nothing to go off of. He says everybody's fine. Everybody's fine. I'm just making jokes, guys. Come on. I'm making jokes. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's right, but there's also a little bit of a dig right there. It's not all about clubhouse culture here. If that's all we're paying attention to, right? Because I think that Derek Shelton does a good job at this. I think that his guys like him. I think that there's some, for the most part, Jake, I think leading up to this, right? But I think recently there's been some frustration with, hey, why are we still doing this? Like, why are we still doing the same things we were doing when we stunk? Why aren't we focusing on things to be better? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all you got? Yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, sorry. No.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's just taking this in. I mean, I was been traveling a little bit, so I missed that quote. But yeah, that's, to me, it's wild to bring it up. Like, was he asked?
He was
Like you
asking
said,
about
if he wasn't provoked. If he wasn't provoked to talk about the clubhouse, why would you even bring it up? If not saying he's hiding it, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Paul Skeens obviously has some feelings that is going to definitely prevent him from signing any type of long-term deal if they try.
Oh, that's already gone.
You know what I mean?
No, I mean the long-term contract. I mean, I'm going to be completely explicit right here, right? I'm just prefacing this like this is the long-term contract is long gone because of the treatment that the players are getting right now from the home crowd. It'll never happen now. They've already thrown it away.
Yeah.
When you boo and chant sell the team, I'm not going to say that you're wrong for doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not my approach to this. You're frustrated. You have your feelings. You want it to happen. The problem is he won't ever sell, for one. And for two, all you're doing is telling the players they're no good. And the players, you hear quotes like this. You hear quotes like what he said before when he said, they're booing the wrong guy. We're the guys playing the game. You know what I mean? Like those players, regardless of what you intend to mean, those players take that personal and it hits them and they immediately say, this is our fault. And I know that most of the people in the crowd that are doing these chants are not even thinking about that. So I don't think that that's their intent. Maybe for some players, but like Paul Skeens in general, like he's owning that. He thinks it's his fault. And you could say like, I don't know about that. But like, I'm telling you, he said it as much to say, I see what's going on here. We're the ones that have to win games and we're not getting it done. And if Paul Skeens is anything, he's a team player.
Yeah.
I mean, just his background in general, like he believes that.
Yeah.
And so he's that kind of guy. And it's not just Skeens. You know what I'm saying? Like you got IKF coming into the home opener hot, actually playing well. He's been terrible since. Right? He was actually doing well. Now, maybe it just caught up with him. That's totally fair to think that. But also...
Yeah, but...
He started two of those.
Exactly. It feeds, it wears on them. It wears on them. Uh, you come out and you're booing these guys, and they get deflated, man. Like you think they're humans.
Yeah.
They're not robots running out there playing the game, and they're expected to do this, and they just go out and do it all the time. They're humans. You weigh all that on them, they're gonna wear it, man, and they're gonna wear it in the worst possible way sometimes, and they're gonna wear it in the best possible way sometimes. It just is what it is, man. It's human nature.
Right. And that's who you're ultimately impacting.
Yeah.
I made this statement on a show. I don't know if it was on one of our Sunday shows or if this was on one of my weekdays. It might have been like the actual one before the home opener or whatever. But then again, it might have been the one that right after the home opener where I did the Sunday live show solo. But it was basically, it's just the idea that like you've already, I don't know, directing it to the wrong place. I don't remember. Either way, it's funny. I spent so much time trying to figure out when I said it. I don't remember exactly where I was going with that, but it's all part of the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
the damage is being done. And I understand if you full-heartedly believe this, by all means, I'm not trying to tell you, you know what I'm saying, that everything's fine, right? That's not my goal here. I'm just saying that this is the result. It will always be the result, and it's part of it. If you want this thing to blow up, it probably means that the whole thing will blow up. But in the meantime, you will make things worse. I know where I was going with that. I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if this team has a better road record than a home record if this continues, right?
Right. Yeah, I gotcha.
You gotta have that's the whole thing about being at home. You gotta have your fans back, and this team is gonna have a hard time feeling like they're on pins and needles, that if there's any mistake, they're gonna hear it again. And that's just not a way they're gonna go on the road and relax. Yeah. Because they're gonna feel like, well, at least if we mess up, nobody's gonna chant sell the team. And really, I don't care what the words are. It's a non-let's go. You might as well say these guys stink. These guys stink. I mean, because that's all they're hearing anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like I said, if this is the price that you feel like you have to pay, then that's what it is. And I understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just frustrating. I do understand it. It's just frustrating.
We probably should have started off the show with Happy Easter.
Yeah.
Thanks, Launchpad, for letting us get that out, which we, regretfully forgot to say at the beginning.
Yeah.
All right. You just need to hit the ball. I mean, this isn't. So I'm going to talk a little bit about.
Flat out.
Go ahead.
Just flat out hit the ball. All right. Just hit the ball.
Yeah, I'm going to go into a sequence that happened in today's game. You had an opportunity you came back against Class A, which let's first say, making that little bit of a comeback on Friday night to make it a close game and forcing Class A to be brought into that game. Games like Sunday are exactly why you do that.
Yeah.
It's exactly why you need that closer to come in on Friday, because he came in on Sunday after coming in on Saturday. You get him the third time in a row, which he does not do very often. And he comes out not looking right. You get a couple guys on. Adam Frazier slaps the ball down the line. You're a run away, steals third. You got this guy, and Class A, you can run on Class A like that. Steals third, and then that brings the infield in. Key Bryan does not have a hit if the infield's not in. Frazier's still at second. Everything going right. And then it gets up to Brian Reynolds. Key gets the hit. You got Reynolds up. All of a sudden, it's a tie game. Reynolds at bat, your guy. And I tweeted earlier in the game, and I'll have good things to say about Reynolds here in a little bit, but earlier in the game, I tweeted, if it ain't going to be Reynolds, it ain't going to be. This is your guy in the lineup today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Reynolds gets up there and swings at the first pitch. A high and in cutter. The bread and butter of Class A. You got him struggling. He's throwing a lot of pitches. I want him throwing more. I want him making a mistake that you can get your hands extended on to drive that ball to dead center field. That's what I'm looking for. And he swings at the first pitch. And he just hits a off the handle dribbler to Clase, which Clase, I don't know how he missed it, but it smacked him in the leg. He ends up with a single, but it wasn't a good at bat. Like, you got to see some pitches there. And a team that we've complained about seeing pitches, and they go out there and do that, and then Kutch gets a first pitch slider and grounds into a double play. What are we doing? Why are we not seeing some pitches from a guy who was clearly struggling on the mound? And you don't want him to go another batter, because the sooner you get him out, the better. I mean, you just do. He's just going to throw anything good. But then the problem is Joey Bart walks on 4 pitches in the 10th. You got Manfred runner on second. You got Bart on first. And you got O'Neal Cruz up. And he swings at a first pitch slider from a left-hander low and away and grounds into a double play. I don't know why this team, who we complain about their philosophy of seeing a lot of pitches, which I think is a good philosophy, all of a sudden turned into what it was. What are you doing? Like, why are we swinging at first pitch sliders low and away?
I have a problem with the first pitch sliders low and away, obviously. But I don't have a problem with Brian Reynolds trying to jump on that fastball. He saw the fastball elevated. He's been hitting the ball pretty well lately, striking it well. He sees that elevated fastball. He's trying to give it a ride. Cuts in on his hands, gets fisted. I don't hate that. I'm not mad about that. I'm really not. I'm over that.
I would like to. I would like you to see.
He saw. To me, in that spot, you got a pitcher who's struggling. He might miss. You get that fastball. You got that much time to react, man. He sees that elevated fastball. Thought he could give it for a ride. It cut in on his hands. Okay. But now you get Kutch up there, and it's not a fastball that he's swinging at. That's the one I have a problem with.
You got 2 guys on. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially for Kutch, he has to see a ton of pitches there.
I don't know that he has to see a ton of pitches. He needs to get to see the pitch that he needs to win the game. I don't care about a ton of pitches when the winning run is at second base.
Here's what I want you to see.
And the series is over.
Here's what I want you to see. I want you to see that cutter before you offer at it.
They already seen it.
That could be fair. Did Reynolds face him the other 2 nights? I
honestly can't remember.
I was on an airplane Saturday, so I didn't get to see the game Saturday. I had to go back and watch stuff, and we got in at midnight, and I obviously didn't get a huge chance to. I know somebody had mentioned the slide at third from Emmanuel. I did not get to see this live. So, I mean, I saw the replay, but I don't really know. I think there was more to it than just what you see in a highlight reel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I don't have that. I was literally on an airplane and couldn't watch the game Saturday. So, that wasn't there, but I don't know, man. Miles agrees with you. He wanted guys to put the ball in the seats, and, you know, that maybe that's what he was hunting. I've just seen Class A pitch too much to ever offer at a first pitch cutter inside on your hands. Like, I just feel like that's the worst pitch to swing at. I don't know why, other than a low and away slider. I don't know why you would ever swing at the cutter up and in. That's going to eat you alive every single time. I want something away. I don't want anything in on my hands from Class A. Nothing, right? Give me something out that I can extend on. That's what I'm looking for. Right. So maybe if he is looking for that pitch, the error isn't swinging. The error is looking for that pitch, because that's a terrible pitch to look for.
I mean, if you're trying to hit the ball far, you're looking for an elevated pitch, period.
Not on your hands, though.
It doesn't start on your hands, though. by the time you make the decision, it's over the middle of the plate.
Yeah, but
and then it runs in on your hand.
You know him. You know, like, you know it's coming.
I get it.
You know it's coming.
I get it. But we're human. We make an error. That's. I can accept the Reynolds one.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. I can accept it. He's trying to be aggressive in that situation. He's trying to win us a ball game. I'm fine with it.
I'll give you this. Like,
a low
not
and away
that
slider. Like,
not
that's
that
not a pitch we ever go.
Right. Not that we have to agree, but I'll give you this. There was no outs yet. You know what I mean? So if he's going to be the first out trying to do that, I get that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But then once he gets on and you've got two guys on, nobody out, I'm sorry. I want Kutch to see more. He's good at that. Yeah. I want him to see some pitches until he gets something. Certainly not what he got.
I want him to see the pitch he wants to hit. I don't care what pitch of the at-bat it is. I want him to see the pitch he wants to hit. Yeah. There's no way that was a slider low and away.
No, there's not a chance.
Do you know what I'm saying?
He's a guy that could swing at the cutter. You know what I'm saying? Righty to righty, going away from you where it goes into your barrel. Like that I get. It's the cutter coming in on your hands. I'm out on it. But I understand what you're saying. And with nobody out, I get that. Kutch has the opportunity with a guy in scoring position to do something a little different. So I think the at-bats are different. I just couldn't believe that there was 3 of them at the end of the game first pitch. That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't compute with what this team's been trying to do. It doesn't compute with what Major League Baseball does right now. Like, jumping on first pitch is one thing, but
it's not what Kutch usually does.
No.
It was out of norm for Kutch.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I can forgive him for that one because he doesn't do it very often, but at the same time, I need him to stick to what he does.
Yeah.
What he does all the time that is successful.
All right, so let's talk, since we're talking about Brian Reynolds, let's go into a little bit of Brian Reynolds here. I have a weird question here about Brian Reynolds. Yeah, Dave White says the guys are pressing, trying to do too much at home. That's actually very true too. Like we talked about this, right? Matt says April Reynolds, not as good as July Reynolds. June is his big month, right? That's the month that he's one of the better hitters in all of baseball in June. And so, yeah, Reynolds probably does catch up to the cutter in June. The problem is, I'm not going to go there. He might miss some of June, but so
did you happen to, real quick, did you happen to see Bregman before the weekend?
No.
5 for 5 with like two or three home runs in the game. The very next day he's on bereavement. He's on paternity leave.
Oh man.
The game before he goes on paternity leave, 5 for 5 with 2 homers.
You know, I'm going to say this tongue in cheek and I'm trying to be funny here. But like, shouldn't there be like a mating season for baseball players? Like, shouldn't we know, like, let's not
There is. It's called the off season.
No, because then you have the baby during the season. We need to figure this out.
That's why they all have them during the season.
We don't want to do that anymore. We need to pick it out. It needs to be like early, you know.
Schedule it.
Yeah, we need to schedule it. It needs to be during spring training, I think, is the best time to I'm going to try just to keep it clean here. The best time to start the process of having a baby needs to be during spring training so that we're outside of, whatever else. Now, you can go a little bit early if you're on a team that doesn't plan on being in the playoffs. You can go, you can have your Valentine's Day date and all that stuff. But actually that's the beginning of spring training. But you know what I'm saying? Like we gotta change this. Oh, okay. This is a good point. Matt brings up Rob Makoviak. You want to have that Garrett Makoviak moment. You know what I mean? So,
Makoviak.
The problem is like, how much time did Makoviak had a baby that morning and played that night. He didn't go on leave. This guy couldn't afford to go on leave. He needs to be with the team. And he's playing for a job. No, I don't know. But like I said, I'm being funny right now. But either way, there needs to be a mating season for ball players where they know when it's okay.
You're a mess. That is a mess.
I'm just saying. Anyway, let's talk about Reynolds a little bit because I have a weird question here. And I just want to get your thoughts on it. And maybe, we talked a lot through the process when he was DHing every day. he had the shoulder issue or whatever. It was on the back of his shoulder. It started off, we thought it was tricep. I think it ended up being the back of the shoulder or right under the shoulder, whatever it was. Should he have taken a trip to the IL rather than struggling through the shoulder issue? So that's going to be the first question. Second is, does that make, if he goes on the IL, does that make this team worse automatically? Or did he actually hurt the team? And before you answer, I'll back that up with 7 for 14 in this series, playing right field, right? Seems like he's back healthy, been able to throw the ball, able to play. 7 for 14. Since going back to right field, that goes back to the last game against Washington. 9 for 16 on base. He was 0 for 2 in that first game, that 1-0 game. 0 for 2, but 2 walks. So 9 for 16 on base since going back to right field, since it's declared healthy, right? Should he have gone on the IL and just said, get better and get back? Or, what's your take on that? I've got some stuff too, but I wanted to give you a chance first.
Yeah, I mean, going on the IL, I feel like we'd still be able to put our best foot forward. Where with him just scuffling through, like we catchers had, play right field today, we'll give you tomorrow off, then we'll play in your right field, and the next day give you, like they were like every other day with McCutchen, who was one of our more productive hitters at the time.
And can play right field every day, by the way.
And can play right field every day. I mean, the guy is stealing bases at this point. You know what I mean? Like, he's feeling good. Let's use him. And honestly, played very well in right field. Made multiple like really nice catches and just played the position well. But then you got just more. I think healthy Reynolds, you're not improving the lineup by having him out. But a scuffling Reynolds, I don't see why you couldn't have done something different to make this lineup look a little better day in and day out, rather than just putting, it's definitely not half effort, right? But half,
he's 60%.
Yeah, like.
And you're taking DH away, right? So the question is
early.
Well, that's kind of the question, though, right? So it is early. Let me throw a couple things here. It's 60% Reynolds, if he was even that. Isn't it better than most of the other options you would have had? Like, you would have been playing some of the other options when Kutch wasn't playing. It's Canario. Somehow Adam Frazier was playing outfield before Canario. I mean, like, why even have the guy on the team if you're not going to use him? And I'm not asking you to use him necessarily either. I'm just saying he's on your team. There's no point in, moving things around certain ways, but I don't know. He's the number 2 hitter. He still set some things up for the lineup, knowing that it's Reynolds up to bat and what he can do. Seemed like right-handed, he didn't have any problems really. It was mostly left-handed. I don't know if the numbers back that up, but that's what it felt like. I felt like his at-bats right-handed, he hit the ball harder.
This is actually a good call out by Matt Holio. Like, bring Gorski up, let Gorski play, and let this all kind of stop. Matt Gorski is not a major league hitter, period. So bring him up here and just let him run out to center. Like, I mean, at least he would. He's a good outfielder.
Yeah.
Like, we wouldn't have to watch Canario out there doing his circles in center field. You could be watching Gorski actually go catch a ball.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Cruz was still playing center, so it wouldn't necessarily have. It would have been right field.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying,
I think
Gorski's actually a good outfielder.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit to it too, where you say like, oh well, at least Reynolds was able to keep his timing. He's not going to have to do when he comes back from that. He doesn't have to do an IL stint, rehab stint. Assignment. But it's not like he necessarily would anyway. I mean, but you would struggle coming out of that from not playing to playing, and so at least he still had that. But, I've had this question come across, and it was like, maybe if we wouldn't have wasted our time with that. But I don't know. I think the answer probably would have been just play Kutch more often. Give him a chance to go out there and play. Run him down. You know, we talk about this a lot. I think there's a lot of people out there who's like, man, this has to be Kutch's last year. Kutch is going to make that decision after a year, not before a year. He wants to know how he feels. And sometimes I think if you keep babying him, like, how long do we go? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that I want him gone, but the last thing that you want is for him to play at a point where he's not able to even be a productive player. And right now he is. But if his body breaks down and he he retires before he gets to be like bad, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not bad yet.
Right.
You don't want to see that. I don't know. I'm kind of there. Maybe, you know, kind of joking. I mean, he added a couple homers to his numbers, so maybe there's something there. I don't know. But it's a start that is tough. Aprils are usually tough for him. I just wondered, like, yeah, I mean, I guess maybe he could have. And then Kutch would have just stayed at DH, and he would have played every day, and you would have been moving guys in and out of right field based on matchups and so on. But I think that, like, Shelton, ever since he's taken this job, has had one easy job. Reynolds is hitting second. And I was like, I don't want to put him on the IL if I don't know who to hit second. I always hit him second. I don't ever have to change that.
Yeah.
That's, again, a little bit of a joke. But he's back and he's healthy. I said 7-14 in this series, 9 of 16 on base, going back to when he started playing every day back in right field. It's time to start hitting and to start coming through. I mean, those opportunities with runners in scoring position Sunday that didn't happen, we need more of that. It has to happen for him. He's your guy. And if he's not your guy, it's O'Neal Cruz. And that's O'Neal Cruz, as much as I think he's a very good player and he's starting to kind of come out of his shell, he's not the guy in the same way that Reynolds is. That consistency's not there. He's an electric player, but like sometimes those guys, they have holes, and he's no exception to that. I mean, he has, and we're talking at the plate before we get all, you know, center field ain't his position. There's his hole, defense. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about at the plate. And obviously he's got swing and miss, and electric guys like that are going to have swing and miss. So we got about 10 minutes left on the show, I think. Actually, yeah, because it's 9:50. So, I'm reluctant to go into one of the topics that we had because I think it's a lot longer than that. So we can save that for another day. But we've talked a lot about Gorski already. And so why don't we talk a little bit about Matt Gorski and about some of the changes that you could see happening now. I know we covered this kind of before, but now coming into this, you've seen another week. Let me ask you this. Is an easy swap for you Gorski for Sawinski? And Sawinski's got the option. He can go to AAA.
Yeah. Yes. Right now, yes. I say that reluctantly as a fan. But he's not getting the job done. Jack
no, I mean, it's not.
It's bad.
It's been bad. And he's not coming out of this. I'm at the point now where I think Jack Sawinski, if he's going to figure this out at the major league level, it's going to have to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
This is a guy who I still believe in the power that he has. I'm somebody who I don't care about the strikeouts. I honestly don't. Like, they're too much right now. And I get, I'm not saying it's allowed to be that high. But if he can provide power and still strike out a lot, then I don't care. Out's an out. It's better than a double play. I would have rather had O'Neal Cruz strike out in today's game in the 10th inning with nobody out. You know what I'm saying? Just strike out, dude, because it's better than a double play. But either way, I see Bucko Mike. I see you out there saying he needs DFA. There's no reason to. He's got an option. Just option him. There's absolutely no reason to lose him over that. You could throw that guy in a trade somewhere if he's hitting well in AAA. Somebody will take a shot. The power's real. Somebody will take him as an add-in on a trade or something like that. There's just no reason to do it unless you need his spot on the roster. And you don't, because you have Tommy Pham on your roster that you could easily get rid of. So I disagree with, he won't clear waivers. I think there's several teams that would take a bid on him.
Yeah.
And then they would just option him immediately. Like there's an option there. They would just pick him off waivers and then option him to AAA. That's such an easy button for a lot of teams. They would 100% do that. Without question in my mind, they'll do that. They've got a year to fix him. And if it doesn't work, who cares? They've got a guy they can get rid of. So just like the Pirates have Tommy Pham and they can get rid of him. He's not getting the job done. Adam Frazier's actually a guy who I feel like has been at least, he might be our team leader in RBIs. I know he's not been good, but he's at least come through. For me, he would be a guy on the bench and he would he would at least come in for pinch hit opportunities because he seems to have a knack for that right now. But either way, I'm not.
I mean, did you see the play he made today too? Like he plays okay defense, so I'm fine with him as I'm fine with him as a backup on the bench.
Even if we've lost some games that he's done this in, he saved the game about 3 or 4 times, and that right there today saved a run that eventually scored anyway. But he saved that run for the time, and so he's been there absolutely. But he just can't be a starter. He absolutely can't be a starter. You know what I mean? And that's the problem I have with Frazier right now. But I actually wouldn't. I've said this a lot. I wouldn't mind him on the bench, but you've got to get somebody to start ahead of him. I don't know if that's Peguero, as Bucko Mike put out here, that Peggy's a plus defensive run saved to shortstop right now, and he's been hitting. As you see here, he's hitting 328 right now. Nick Solak, in that same exact message I'm sharing right now, he's hitting 391. He could play second base. Peggy can play short and put IKF at second until Nick Gonzalez is coming back. You've got options you can do there. So absolutely, you can go through and make a change where you can get Frazier on the bench.
Yeah.
And that has to happen at some point. You've got to get... Peguero is no different than Sawinski. This is their last chance. Right? Peguero was given a 4th option for this. It's his last chance. There you go. 3 for 9 with runners in scoring position this year. That's good. That's a 333. Yeah. It's not like he's coming through every single... you look at that and you say, oh, geez, that's bad. Well, it's not free throws, man. It's getting a hit with runners in scoring positions. It's not easy.
Right.
It's a 333 average. Anyway, I think that there's a lot of things that could be changed in that regard, that you could start to put together at least a team that looks different.
Yeah.
You're at the
Makes
point
it look
now.
Like you're trying to do something.
Exactly. You have to look like you're trying right now. And that means that you've got to get, I would say Sawinski and Canario both off of that major league roster. You have to see somebody new. Gorski's and Billy Cook is heating up right now. Get both of those guys up there. I realize Jack's left-handed and those guys aren't. At this point, we don't have that luxury to care, right? Billy Cook's going to help out at first base. You're going to have to bring both those guys out. You're canning Canario. You're sending, so it's a Billy Cook for Sawinski. It's a Canario and Canario has promise. I'm not like, it's there. It's just you're not going to figure this out playing every once in a while in the major leagues. You're going to send him on waivers, and if somebody claims him, somebody claims him. If they don't, they don't. And he goes to AAA, and you can work on that. That's fine. But that's something you have to do. And you have too many outfielders. So Pham is just gone. Just out into the dust he goes, right? And then you can activate Horwitz with that. If he's ready, right? If he's not, you've got Billy Cook, you've got Matt Gorski, you've got Emmanuel Valdez. All those guys can play first base. You've got Jared Triolo still on this roster with that. You've got all that. And I know Canario has no options. That's what I'm saying. Put him on waivers, send him to the minors and see if he works there. Miles, bringing up the same thing I'm saying. Gorski plays a fine for first base too. So you've got Cook, you've got Gorski. Like I said, you've got Emmanuel Valdez, who has been, he's really been a wild card because he has good things that he's done. But then there's also like the 2 pickoff throws from Paul Skeens. Like I think a real first baseman just catches him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you've got that too. But I'm just saying that there's a lot here. There's a lot here that could be changed in an effort to try to do better.
Yeah.
Bucko Mike, I mean, I'm there. I get what you're saying. Triolo equals AAA is what he's saying here. I get what you're saying, but we're talking about a backup. He's not a starter at any position, right? If you're running with IKF, which we think they are, if you're running with IKF, I could see you going Key, IKF, and then whatever you want to do there. If it's Emmanuel Valdez, just play him there. If he can't, then obviously second base needs to be addressed as well. So Adam Frazier isn't there. Solak could be that guy. Eventually Nick York could be that guy. Nick Gonzalez, when he comes back, could be that guy. But Nick York hasn't hit the ground running yet, right? So we need to get him going. But there's a lot of options that you could do. Like I said, give Solak a chance. I understand what it looks like. I understand it looks like Josh Van Meter. But he's hitting 391. Just give him a chance to play every day. If it doesn't work, you didn't lose anything. Just, again, to the wind, right? And that's going to be your replacement for Pham, to give you somebody to play second base. And all of a sudden, you've got some guys that can run out there and play ball. You've got Gorski and Cook that can split left field, both of them very good defenders. You've got Reynolds in right, Cruz in center. Either Gorski or Cook can play a good center field too. Probably, I mean, both of them better than, I think Cook's probably our best outfielder in all the positions. He's really good. And I'm just saying, like, you got to go there. Pham's gone. So I see some love for Solak in the chat. So that's it. So Solak's your move for Pham. And then he's your second baseman. I understand you've got a lot of guys, but you have too many outfielders here. You know what I'm saying? You've got too many outfielders. So Matt saying Solak greater than Van Meter. You'll see. That's the thing, is you'll see, right? That's exactly what we're talking about. And Miles even says that Indy even had Solak in center field last week. There's a lot of, I mean, there are just options in AAA. These guys are hitting, and you've got, just change it. Make guys realize that if you're not getting it done, then you're not going to play.
Yeah, I mean, get some of these guys up here that are hot, that maybe they can continue to stay hot for a little bit. Get 100%. The ball rolling. Just mix it up. Do something. Show us you're trying to win games. Don't just run the same crap out there day in, day out.
And like I said, like I've said in other shows, and I've said it before here, this team is not all bad. But when you get good players surrounded by no protection, no love, you know what I mean? Games are being lost. When you lose games, you consider yourself a loser, and no one is selfish enough that plays this game, or at least shouldn't be, to say that, like, oh, I'm doing my job. I don't know what about these guys. Like, as soon as you do that, you're already gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're already, first off, karma will come after you. But second, that's never the attitude to take. That's not a team player. That's not what anybody wants in their clubhouse ever. So that won't happen. There will be thoughts laying in your bed at night. There will be thoughts. I'm doing all I can. I feel like I'm having a good year. That's fine. No one's saying that out loud unless you're a jerk. You know what I'm saying? And that's just it. If you go and you say that out loud, you're done. As far as I'm concerned. I don't have any room for that kind of stuff. And I think most people that play this game would agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Barry Bonds, man. That's the bullcrap that he tried playing with Leland.
Yeah.
But either way. I don't know, man. You got anything else?
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing some change, man. Just bring it on.
I got one more for you. Give Majinski out of the starting role.
Oh, please.
If you're going to start him, he has to be an opener. And I know you hate the opener, so you'll never sign up for that. But, like, he's legitimately good the first time through the order.
Yeah. Like, really good.
Because he's a good reliever. That's why he's good.
Right. Exactly. Just put him back in the bullpen. Let's strengthen that up even more. It's been looking pretty decent as of late. I mean, let's stop this. Like, it's crazy.
And if you're going to do it, like I said, the best they ever did it. Now, granted, he did go five innings in that outing, but the best they've ever done it was when they had another stretched out starter to go after him.
Yeah.
Because if he can get you through 3 innings, then you've got to have somebody else to get you through 4 more. 3 or 4 more. You know what I'm saying? If you can even get me 6 innings out of those 2 guys. Now, I understand that you're saying, well, now you're just using up another roster spot for that. Okay, I would argue this way. I'm just trying to win games. And letting him go out there the second and third time through the order is not trying to win games.
Right.
I think he's a good pitcher. I think he has the ability to be a great pitcher, but in the bullpen.
Yeah.
I just think you're 8-15, man. You don't have time to be playing around. And this is a guy that, like, I'm starting to listen to his interviews closely because he's going to say things like, oh, it's not a selfish thing. I'm calling bullcrap on that. Like, you're trying to make more money in free agency. That's what you're doing because you know it's possible. You know that if you can prove you can be a starter, you can be a bad starter and make $15 million a year right now. Like, we saw that happen this offseason. We saw pitchers who are just like, meh, make $15 million. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, 12 to 15. Let's just say that. But like, relievers aren't making 12 to 15 unless they're elite.
Yeah.
So, like, choose your battle. You got an easier route if you just be a starter. And like, I get it. And you'll hear him say things like, this is best for my career. Yeah, we get it.
It's best for your pocket.
And when you say, I think I can help this team by doing that, like, you're not right now. And this team has said audibly that they plan on winning this year. If this was 2022, I got patience, man.
Yeah.
I got patience. This isn't 2022. Like, you're now, like, you're facing a head-on collision right now. They blow this thing up. I doubt it gets better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're looking at a 100-loss team right here, and there's absolutely no reason for it. The team is better than that. But they're not playing better than that, so technically they're not better than that, right? But the talent that's there was not surrounded by the people that it needed to be surrounded by, and the ones that are there are playing poorly. And I would put Mlodzinski on that list because he could be very good if he was just pitching out of the bullpen.
In the right spot for him to succeed.
And I'm even okay with them stretching out because I'd even give him the ball. Like, if Keller comes out there and gives up a 4 spot in the 3rd inning, like, I'm fine with saying, like, Mlodzinski, let's go, man. Get us a time through the order here.
Yeah.
If he wants to be a guy that's not a 1-inning pitcher, that he's okay with ups and downs and things like that, like, I'm all for it. If that's what you mean. And he did say that, right? They did say that. They did say, he said, I think it can help this team whether I'm a starter or a reliever. And I'm like, okay, but the process is over.
Yeah.
Like, now
I feel like we know what's going on.
I think now we need to move on to that point where you help the team as a reliever. And it doesn't have to be an 8th inning guy. It can be that guy who gets you 2 innings. He's allowed, we always talk about if a guy comes into a jam and he gets out of the jam, he's done. Don't bring him back out. Yeah. Don't bring him back out. If he goes down, he can't come back up. I think Mlodzinski has already shown that he is a guy that could go down and come back up now. Okay? So I'll give you that. It worked for that, but it needs to be done with that. Or it needs to be, like Matt says here, a 3-inning opener. And I'm okay with that if you got a guy who can get you 3 more. Or, I mean, even 2 more. You know what I mean? Like, let's get through 5. I don't know. That's all he's doing. But you're using a lot of the bullpen there. So I just don't know. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Matt says,
I honestly, for the multiple innings, still, I will forever hold true. If you get your team out of a jam, you're done. If you start with a clean inning, you can go 2 or 3. I don't care.
Even despite the guy, I mean, he's built though. At this point, he's stretched out to be a guy that can go up and down.
Sure, I get it, but you get so heightened energetic, like you get yourself out of that big jam. You did your job for the night. Start him off with a clean inning. Let him throw 2 or 3. I'm fine.
Okay.
Especially a guy like Majinski.
Okay. And like I said, I'd have to see it, right? I'd give him the chance once or twice, especially if he gets out of a 5th inning jam. I'll give him the 6th inning. I'm not doing like get out of a 7th inning jam, give him the 8th inning.
I get it. I just probably wouldn't bring him into that jam.
Sure. Somebody else for the jam, let him go 6 and 7. Something like that.
Right.
That would make sense too. That would make sense. Yeah. I think
it's just the way I would use my bullpen. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, however you use it, it should just be different than the way Derek Shelton uses it.
Exactly.
So here's my last question, and we'll get out of here because we ran a little bit, but that's okay because this is something that was part of this topic here. If you do this, if you say, all right, enough's enough, we're making some changes. Do you make those changes before or after you fire Derek Shelton?
I'm going to need a week to think about that question.
Oh.
That's a really good question.
Because there's pros and cons to that, right? If it works and you don't think Shelton's the guy, then you got to hold on to him longer.
Right.
But I think
I would lean towards drop Shelton, make the changes.
That's the first move, right? And then change the room.
Shelton going first. Yep.
Shelton goes first. We've already seen McCutcheon's not happy about his playing time. Right? We're seeing that a little bit. We're seeing him start to speak up a little bit.
Let's go old school and let's just have McCutcheon be a player manager.
Oh, no. I don't think McCutcheon would sign up for that.
No.
I think McCutcheon
nobody would now.
I think McCutcheon is very specific. Before we started the show, I saw the trade Kutch stuff. If you trade Kutch, I believe there's a chance he retires instead of goes to a new team. He's a Pirate. He's going to finish a Pirate. That's not going to happen. He's not being traded. The only way to get him off the team is retirement. That's it. That's the way it should be. You've already traded him once. You've screwed that up once. Don't do it again.
Yeah.
Don't do it again.
Agree.
Matt wants to know, are they bringing back Lloyd McClendon?
No.
Steel City DW says this may be a no-duh question for you guys, but who's more of the problem? Ben Sherrington, Derek Shelton. What do you got, Jake?
Honestly, it's not a no-duh because it's they go hand in hand. I feel like he said that right together.
We're accountable together. He said.
Yeah, I mean, you got either the guy that's not getting the job done, or the guy that hired the guy that's not getting the job done and retained him for more years.
Yeah.
So
for me, it is Derek Shelton. Is more of the problem. Let me rephrase that. That is a really hard question because I think the guy to let go first is Shelton.
Yeah.
But maybe none of this ever would have happened if Sherrington would have got brought in the right guys. Right?
Yeah.
And then I'll piggyback off that because Pitt City What's already got me going this way. And Sherrington maybe brings in the right guys if he's given a budget to do so.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's going to keep climbing the ladder, but the most impact you can make in the clubhouse right now. So let's do the things. Let's do the things where I'm like trying my hardest to be fair. Nutting, I've already made my case earlier in this show. If you're catching in late to the live show, go back and listen to the rest of it. Cleveland's winning with bad ownership and no money. And so there's a possibility that if you do things right, you could also win. So that's and Nutting's not going anywhere is the other thing. So that's the one thing that says, okay, let's move on to the next thing. Sherrington, let's be real. What they've done with pitching, and that's his system. Like he's the one that, I mean, not his, like it's not his, you know what I'm saying? He's hired the people and put them into place to make the decisions that like we're in the best spot, I think, that this franchise has ever been with pitching. From the majors down, with the prospects that we have and the caliber prospects we have, and you can say anything you want about, well, they lucked into Skeens. Not necessarily true. Like Skeens will credit some of the things that the Pirates have done to put him where he is. You know what I'm saying? Like there's been some guys. But so Sherrington does have some good there. And I'm just saying that to say he's been awful. Like his trades really haven't been that good. He's been awful in the offseason bringing in the right guys. Tommy Pham is not it. He never was it. He'll never be it. Okay? And that's a guy that was brought in to try to make a difference here? No. So there's obviously bad there. But Derek Shelton has an impact on the everyday game.
Yeah.
And so his impact carries a lot more weight when it comes to trying to right the ship on an 8-15 team. Yes, it matters that we get different players in the lineup. But I'm not sure that room changes without Shelton being changed. And so I think the move has to be Shelton, whether he's most at fault or not. It has to be Shelton. Shelton's already lost. He's lost patience, all that stuff. So I think that all things considered, he has to be the first move. Sherrington has to be the second move. Travis Williams has to be the third move for all this other stuff going on. It needs to be a complete overhaul here. And unfortunately, Nutting's not going anywhere.
No.
And unfortunately, I want to stress that. And if he does, dancing in the streets, understandably, right? But I'm just not going to, like, and I could be dead wrong. I want you to know, like, this isn't something I'm pining for. I could be dead wrong. I just don't see it happening. I don't see him going anywhere or selling anything. I mean, he owns, 51% of the team. So there's a bunch of other guys in that room who also have to agree to this. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just the majority owner. He's not just the guy. Could you imagine being one of those guys that carry the other 49%? Like, they're just all like, ain't nobody even know my name. This is great. I'm making the profits too, and nobody knows who I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine people do. I don't know. Right? You just got one majority owner, the face of the whole deal, and he's taken all of it. And quite frankly, I agree with the players when they say, like, it's not, you're directing it to the wrong place. Like, you're booing me because I'm the one making a difference in the game, but somehow you're making it about him when I'm the one not getting the job done. You're booing me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're telling me I'm worthless, no matter which one it is. It'd be a hard environment to play in. Anyway.
Absolutely.
Derek Shelton is the day-to-day guy. I go Derek Shelton there. That was actually a lot harder question than you drew it up to be.
Right. There's a lot of layers to that.
There's a lot of layers to that. Yeah. So, there's, I'm reading through the chat here because there is a lot of things. Pit City What says Nutting isn't hiring or firing the right people. That's totally true. Right. We've seen that. Matt, that was, Kim Ng, she's not in anymore. She's doing some stuff with softball now. And Steel City DW's the point he was making about watching so many players leave and thrive. It's not big contract guys, like just fringe starters who've gone and done things. Cheryl says teams made too many stupid mistakes lately. It's been a lot of that. It's just discipline in general, right? And that comes with a manager that holds you accountable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There you go. Rob's got you. Kimming. Sherrod says Ben Sherrington needs fired before any trades are made, though. Yeah, I could see that too. And it's not even trades right now. I mean, I think with what you have right now, you could make some significant changes to that room. And I think sometimes we underestimate what changes to the room would be if Matt Gorski and Nick Solak get a shot, and guys like Jack Sawinski is sent down, and Billy Cook, who's on a heater right now, can come up in that spot, and Solak down or Solak up, and Pham gone, and Canario gone, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you got guys that like big changes that are being made to try to make something of this offense.
Yeah, guys that are hot down in the minors, bring them up.
And they got a lot to prove. I mean, some of those guys like Gorski and Billy Cook are not young.
Yeah.
Matt brings up a good thing here. Should Sherrington run the draft? This one to me is really difficult. I think that Nutting made the mistake last year of maybe not moving on from him. And I think when he did that, I think that I think the result of that is that he's going to get the draft this year. I think you make your GM change later. I don't know. All the work that's been done leading up to the draft is mostly done, I would think. I think decision time, but all of your scouting and all the talks in the room and everything. If you would go away from him, you would just be appointing somebody who's been around for all that anyway. So I don't know how much different it actually is.
Right. Yeah. I agree with that.
I don't know, like I said, I don't know the ins and outs of what goes on in those rooms. But I would imagine that there wouldn't be a whole lot of difference to what the draft would look like if it's him or if it's his people. I think for the most part, his people are the ones giving him the information anyway. It's just if you got two guys, he has the final say on which guy to go for. And I don't know. I give a pair of batting gloves to Henry Davis. Grab Termar and stretch him out a couple inches. You know what I'm saying? Like they're some of these hitting side of the draft, they haven't been all bad. I think it's more in the development than it is in the draft. I mean, there were a lot of people that said both of those two that I just said were the best hitters in the draft, in their respective drafts. And so when you hear that, and it's not just coming from Ben Sherrington, right? It's coming from other people. Yeah. Then, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of thing where I'm like, I don't know that it was necessarily a poor decision as much as it is probably just poor development on the hitting side of things.
Yeah.
Bucko Mike says roster moves are Solak, Peggy, Gorski, and Uncle Jake up from AAA as a relief pitcher. Jake option Jack, Triolo, Pham, Canario, and Nicholas. So you're replacing Kyle Nicholas. Funny how quickly we say Kyle Nicholas wasn't ready. He's ready. He just needs to throw more strikes, and until he's going to do that, I mean, he got hit the other day, and I think it was just a matter of trying not to.
Yeah, we got to wrap this up, bud.
All right, let's wrap it up.
20 minutes over.
20 minutes over. We get one show a week now, Jake. I'm sorry. Hey, we probably would have been like 35 or 40 minutes over if we'd went with the other topic. So,
right.
Appreciate you guys. Obviously, in the chat, you guys. I mean, we can go on. We can go on forever with this and talk to you guys. Absolutely love it. But we do need to wrap it up. I think Jake wants to try to go take a long walk on the beach at night or something. I think he's
out here
looking for some beach time here. So anyway,
I got a bunch of other people in this condo as well. So they're all being quiet.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't even know that part.
Yeah.
All right. Well, appreciate you guys as always. And we'll catch up to you. Hey, got shows the rest of the week. So
rest of the week.
I'll be with you. All right, let's play some music and get out of here. Sorry, Jake. Everybody tell Jake bye. Tell him to have a good time. All right, guys, let's go, Bucks.
Let's go, Bucks.
Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Jake on the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2Buctober. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are released. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks!